5 years talking about we don't like each other, but nothing ain't going on. You know what I'm saying? It just don't.
You see, the talk is going down. You heard me?
We in this bitch.
The talk is going down. You heard me?
Well, bitch.
It's boy Akademiks, and check it out because the beef is over. Now, let me tell you this, right? You're probably looking at these two guys like, Smack, who the fuck are they? Now, if you don't know who they are, you should know. You should probably know who Glizzy is. The other guy is Fat Trel. Basically, Fat Trel, he looks like Majin Buu just invaded the body of Young Chop. Now, you're probably saying, what beef do they have? Because if you look at Fat Trel again, he looks quite demonic, but it looks like the only beef he's having is what he's probably having for lunch and dinner. But he had some issues with Glizzy. Now, the history between the two camps, if you don't know, the SluttyBoyz and, of course, Glizzy gang, kind of stems from a couple years ago, but it's kind of been indirect. It's never been nothing like blatant or flagrant. Hasn't really, at least to my knowledge, been anything where it really got to like gunshots being fired and nothing like that. However, there has been words exchanged, okay? Fat Trel is kind of called Glizzy's camp like less than honorable dudes. He kind of like low-key labeled them a snitch. And of course, we had Glizzy who rapped in one of his songs, Disrespect the Tech, where he was blatantly sending some shots at Fat Trel. Matter of fact, he said this. And by the way, actually, he didn't say Fat Trel's name. He says, Fat Trel got a tech, where the fuck he shoot that at? Never seen you in go-go, never seen you in the streets, and I don't ever think you went to school in D.C. No change on your brain, my killers shoot for free. Then he kept on going because he said, you ugly, you fat, you can't dress, you do this because you have to, I do this because I'm blessed. Now, let me just say this, all right? A lot of people said Glizzy dissed Fat Trel back in the day just to get a come up. And now Glizzy, he's not quote unquote on as in the mainstream terms of being on, but he's definitely at a higher level. Maybe for whatever reason, both of these guys said, yo, let's just squash this beef. We're not even really beefing over anything legit. And they're finally coming together. I think it's actually a very dope move, all right? Despite what Glizzy might have said about me, listen, I think it's a very dope move. They're squashing beef. And it's a good move for DC. When you think about DC, you think about Wale, you think about Glizzy, you think about Fat Trel, right? I think other cities like Memphis, they're going to get to that point as well, where they got to squash the beef, because believe me, beef with somebody within your own city is not beneficial to the progress of that said city, right? I'm not saying everybody got to be like hugging and taking pics and all that shit, but you guys have to have some type of working relationship, right? Especially when you're trying to put a scene on musically, right? If you look at most of these scenes, like you look at Atlanta as a scene is popping, which means if you're in Atlanta and you fuck around, get drunk, and get behind a mic and start mumbling and slurring your words, you might come out with a hit song. And when you do drop that hit song, everybody's going to support it because it's that culture there. In some cities, they feel like there could only be one man, and if there's another guy trying to compete or something like that, it's clearly a problem. So I'm glad these guys have squashed their beef, and apparently they got in the studio together. I can't wait to hear what they got cooking up. What do you guys think? If you still don't know who they are, go check out their mixtapes, and you let me know. It's your boy Akademiks, man. Get in the comments. Make sure you guys like, definitely subscribe. Now, somebody just got to tell Glizzy to get out of his feelings, and maybe me and him could take a picture, right? I'm out.